Interesting. Oh, we're live apparently. Thanks for telling me, guys. Yes, Pan. Not this one, but this one. This is better. I can tell you that right now. I'm just gonna go straight forward on this. Cartoon, Disney, way better than this. It had its moments, but it was just trash since the beginning. I mean, what else can I say? I mean, Peter Pan has been told for like God knows know how long, like so many years. I mean, it started. His first appearance was in The Little White Bird in 1902, and then he was in 1911. He came back 1911 in Peter and Wendy. He was derived from the. It was a character based off a Scottish novelist and playwright, J.M. Barrie, and it told the story. Peter Pan told the stories about him and his crew, the Lost Boys, and they go, they interact with mermaids, Native Americans, fairies, pirates, and all in this uh, world called Neverland. Now, the concept is there, clearly. I mean, clearly. It made a couple of books, a couple of novels. J.M. Barrie made a couple of novels with Peter Pan. There's been many incarnations of the character. This is the one that I grew up with, even though it came out in the 50s. Uh, this was actually one of my favorite ones next to Aladdin and Little Mermaid. I mean, at least from that era. Uh, and the thing is, the stories just grow, and they grow and grow and grow, and next thing you know, Hollywood gets their pretty paws on it again, and they fuck it up like this. Here's the deal. This is actually an interesting story because it actually takes place before this. Before Peter meets Wendy, John, and Michael. It's kind of, if you ever watch the Sci-Fi Network, a couple years ago they did a short-lived series about it. I believe it was called Neverland, actually. Now that it comes back, but again, it derived from the from this story. This is basically what it was. Apparently, in all the stories in Pan was actually a thief. Him and his friends were orphans, so they would steal for other people and themselves. And then they meet a guy, and they end up working for him. I mean, this is the story that I'm telling you from the Sci-Fi Network. I mean, and it's pretty much the same thing here, except he's not really a thief. He's more portrayed as as a child. I mean, that's kind of obvious and kind of the point of the whole movie. He's supposed to be looked at as an innocent child, uh, the mind of a child inside of an adult, or vice versa, if you would. Um, it you know it still gives you the same theory of, what Doctor Who always says. You don't have to grow up if you can't grow up if you can't be childish sometimes. It's one of my favorite quotes in Doctor Who, and it relates here too. I mean, you don't necessarily uh, have to grow up to be childish, and it works, and it's pretty much what you get the lesson here. The thing is, like I said before, this is a new incarnation of Pan. It was actually it was interesting to see, because I've always loved the before, like stuff like this, which is why I watched the Neverland series. It's why I watched the Allison through the Looking Glass series, also again on Sci-Fi. It just brings a whole new light to the series, and it's kind of cool, and it kind of sees the character in a new light, which is what you get here. I don't know if they're planning on any sequels. I'm hoping not, because I mean, it kind of tanked in the box office. I didn't really enjoy it. I talked to a lot of my friends about it. They seemed it was okay. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world. I mean, the thing is, they got the cast fairly well. I mean, you got some really good actors here. I mean, Hugh Jackman. I mean, who doesn't like Hugh Jackman? You have Levi Miller, who's kind of up and coming. He's actually in Heroes Reborn right now. Rooney Mara, if you don't recognize her, you may recognize her from Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, or if you're in the sporting world, you also may know her as the Giants owner, I believe. That's his daughter, and it was kind of cool to see. You also have Garrett Hedlund, who's coming out of the woodwork again. Last time I believe we saw him was, at least the last time I saw him was in Tron Legacy. Again, don't know if they're coming up with anything with there. But you know, look, it was an interesting story. There's fairy bending. You get all the characters; they all come together to form the story, to form the story that you know and love. The thing is that it didn't work, and at least in my mind, it didn't work, and it was I was kind of saddened by it. You know, it kind of pissed me off that they did certain things, that they did uh, certain aspects. You know, but look, do yourself a favor, watch. I personally liked the show better. It was more fun. It was more. I don't know if it was more accurate to the books, or if it was just more accurate in general. But it seemed better than this. Just complete trashiness. Look, the effects were amazing. IMAX was incredible. But like I said, I would say just. I mean, if you want to check it out, I'm not gonna stop you. But I'm telling you right now, it's a waste of money. If you do want to check something out, Peter Pan, show your kids this or watch this if you haven't. I mean, if you haven't already, you're I don't know what you're doing with your life. And you also need to watch the sci-fi series because it definitely gives you a better look into what I believe could be the actual story behind Peter Pan before he became Peter Pan. One aspect of it that I liked was that he was uh, it was a prophecy story where the kid the person who holds the pan is the greatest warrior of all time, which was kind of cool. I love prophecy stories. I like Percy Jackson. I like Atlanta. You know, it fills it in. So go check. I would say I'm not going to recommend this film, but again, if you want to check something out with Pan, check this out, or the sci-fi series. That's pretty much all I can say. What I can also say is make sure you stay tuned for our next adventure because we're going spooky. Yes, because we're in October right now, so you know Paranormal Activity needs to have their shtick on it, you know, their stamp on approval on it. So we're going over the next installment. So stay tuned for that, guys. Bye.